Hello and welcome to ABW Radio Live. I am your rather ill host, Kris. Sorry, but I can't hide it. But nevertheless, we are here and we are live as always to bring you some post-match coverage of the game. I'm joined by John. Evening, John.
Good evening, Kris.
I'm joined by Tom. Evening, Tom.
Evening.
And I'm joined by Aaqib. Evening, Aaqib.
Evening, Kris.
And of course, we're also joined by you wonderful, lovely people in the chat room. Good evening to all of you, ladies and gents, as well. Right, let's jump straight into it then. All the non-believers. We'll all look rather silly now because we've managed to qualify. To be perfectly honest, in a fairly comfortable fashion in the end. Let's get some initial thoughts from the panel. Let's start with Aaqib as guest. Aaqib, what did you make of tonight?
I think tonight was a great away performance. We tend to do very well when we're under pressure in the Champions League, such as Monaco, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, but we always fall short. But this time we were absolutely brilliant today. Stand-up players, Joel Campbell, standout, Giroud with a hat-trick. But hopefully we could get an easy group in the next draw and get as far as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll cover the possibilities in a short while. John, what did you make of the performance tonight? Would you kind of agree with me when I say that it was more straightforward than we probably could have ever thought it would be?
Yeah, certainly after the 25-minute mark on the first goal, because before that I thought, oh God, no, we're going to completely mess this up. Because I thought we'd start the game and have loads of possession and, Olympiacos just sit back and try and hit us on the counter. But they had the first couple of chances in the game. But as soon as we scored, then it was perfect away performance in Europe. Controlled the tempo, attacked when we needed to, slowed the game down when we needed to. Really good, important performances from some of our big players tonight. I'll even give Joel Campbell some praise because he played very well.
I'll come back to him. Don't worry.
Which is difficult for me to ever say. But
You'll
yeah,
be saying it a lot. Trust me.
I don't think I will. But just a good solid performance, and I'm just pleased that we got through and we didn't embarrass ourselves after the earlier group games and the position we put ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before I come to you, Tom, I just want to shout to joe.co.uk. Anybody that likes a bit of WWE, as anyone knows me knows they do, check out their GIF that they've just posted of Arsene Wenger walking like Vince McMahon down the ramp. It's absolutely brilliant. Tom, what was your thoughts on this evening? Are you fairly sort of satisfied? I mean, it sounds like a silly thing to say, but the performance, everything. Is there anything you can pick a fault in? I don't think there is there?
No, I'm sure John will find one, but I certainly can't pick a fault. No, I'm so glad this stupid whole kit thing people couldn't seem to be blaming our performances on is over. I personally love that kit. I don't care what fashion advice people want to give me, but I'm wearing it right now, and I really like it. So personally, it was a great performance. We will go on to stand-up performers in the match. Koscielny for me was man of the match. It was brilliant. Even though in a match where someone gets a hat-trick and I'm giving it to a defender, that really does show how much highly I'm rating him this game. Personally, it couldn't have gone any better, really, could it? Not to concede a goal and to get 3, and from someone who's never got a competitive hat-trick for us is excellent.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Let's drill down into it then, said the vicar to the schoolboy. John, let's talk about some individual performances just before we get to the goals. The lineup itself to start with. Any surprises for you? Was the sort of the Theo one was probably the biggest? I don't know whether risk is the right word, but were you surprised with what lineup we went with?
There was two. The Theo one was the more questionable one for me. The only other one I thought we might have seen was Gabriel coming in maybe for Mertesacker because we needed the goals and we might be pushing up high. So, we might be exposed maybe to the counters. But I didn't really have an issue with the choices. As I say, the Walcott one was a little bit contentious because when Giroud went down and was holding his ankle, and then I just looked at it and thought, oh God, no, we're playing our two only real strikers in the team at the moment in Giroud and Walcott, and having Walcott on the bench to come on as an option, I feel was a bit better. But it worked out. So, no real complaints about the lineup. I don't think there was anyone else he could have picked. It was only Oxlade-Chamberlain, who, to be perfectly honest, hasn't really played. I know he played that one game back, but he didn't play in any sort of way that would give you confidence going into this match. So I think it was a pretty easy team selection.
Yeah, I kind of completely agree with you there. Aaqib, just moving sort of into the game, first sort of 10, 15 minutes or so. I wouldn't say we were under pressure, but we seemed to have quite a slow start, quite a nervy start, quite an edgy start. Was there ever a point where you thought that we might sort of struggle to get the result we needed? Did you feel that we were under the cosh for the first period of time?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, they did come out surprisingly, attacking, and I thought, they would more sit back and go for the 0-0 draw. But, as long as we got that, one chance to nearly score like Flamini did when he hit the bar, I think we would push on, kick on, and get our rhythm going. And thankfully, thanks to a beautiful Mesut Ozil pass, Ramsey cross, and Giroud heads it 1-0. And when we scored, I think we were just dominating the game. I think Olympiacos couldn't get back then.
Yeah, absolutely, well said. And Tom, if we just look at, obviously, we talk about the individual performances. You mentioned Koscielny, the whole defence tonight, but definitely have to look at Koscielny as a whole and the whole performance. But that first sort of half an hour, he seemed to keep us calm, he seemed to keep us composed, and that was a good building block for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a performance where the first half an hour, I don't think Wenger really expected Olympiacos to come out like they did and play like they did. I think from the way that we reacted, and the way we were a bit shocked in how they were coming towards us. So from the off, and they knew that we were going to score clearly. They might concede 1-2 and what it turned out to be 3, and they knew that they might have to score a couple of goals to get them through. And that was certainly the case in the first half an hour. But as you said, Koscielny kept our defence calm, marshalled it well. Mertesacker also had an excellent game, and they all did the work. The only criticism defensively I have was Walcott not doing his coverage, but he's coming back from injury and he's not really match fit. And you definitely saw the reason why Joel was switched over to the other side again, because he was definitely providing much more cover for Monreal. Bellerin was getting 2-on-1 a couple of times in the first half an hour, but I thought he dealt with it reasonably well, and we didn't concede a goal. And that shows how good the defence was.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. John, let's look at the first goal. Tom touched on it there. The switch of wingers from our manager, who doesn't do tactics, of course, but he did make a tactical switch, and he obviously switched play for the wingers. Theo went to the left, and Joel Campbell came to the right, and it was kind of from that position where Mesut Ozil did what he does best. Having had a fairly quiet game, he threaded the eye of a needle, slipped in that ball, and it was a superb cross for Aaron Ramsey and Giroud with a touch of good fortune, I think it's fair to say, and a bit of Sunday League goalkeeping. But really, really good take from Giroud, who up until this point had been quite quiet. What was your thoughts on that first goal?
Yeah, Giroud had disappointed me. I mean, most of the team had up until the goal. I thought Olympiacos were actually slightly better than us up until that point. But we, like you said, the switch of the wingers, I thought it was more to, like Tom said, defensively, because Bellerin was struggling down that side, and Campbell certainly offers more tracking back than Walcott does. But that seemed to work out, and Walcott's run opened up some space for Ramsey to move into, and Ozil just picked that pass out. It was fantastic, and the weight on it was just good enough that Ramsey could take it first time on his wrong foot as well, on his left foot, to crossing a perfect ball where he just knew, just put it in at the front post, because Giroud's going to make that run. And I think the keeper could have done a little bit better, to be perfectly honest, but got a bit of luck, which we needed, because we hadn't had it in the rest of the competition so far. Goes in, and I think that just settled the nerves then, and then you could see everyone, their level just went up. Olympiacos then shrunk down a little bit, and we just took more control in the game. Also just wanted to say quickly, congratulations to Rob. He just said he's having a boy. Little boy.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Is that Rob Parrott?
Yes, Rob Parrott, yeah.
Oh, superb.
I think everyone else came in. Whatever you do, Rob, don't call him Joel.
Don't start, Welsh. I'm coming for you later. Don't start me. Yes, absolutely. Congratulations, Rob. And I have been messaging Rob back and forth because I deleted his message by mistake earlier on. So I apologise, Rob. So if you didn't have enough to deal with, you then had the ignorance of me deleting your messages. I do apologise.
But, really well worked goal, and Giroud needed it as well, and it made him play better. He started holding the ball up. You could see it gave him a lift in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely well said. So, Tom, I'll come back to you for the sort of the period of time that we were 1-0 up. We came in at the break at 1-0. At that point in time, were you sort of fairly confident that we had enough to score the second? I mean, it was a fairly close game, but we played it perfectly. I thought we came in with that 1-goal lead. They hadn't threatened a lot, and we looked the comfortable side. Did you have any concerns that we could go on in the second half and get what we needed to get?
Yeah, it certainly seemed like getting to half-time with a 1-0 would have been ideal. You can saw how desperate the team was to get a goal in the first half with the way we were playing, because we did play quite open, and that's how Olympiacos did get in quite reasonably often. But no, at half-time, I was happy with the 1-0. You got certainly enough of time. You don't want to go 2-0 up too soon and then allow so much pressure to come on you for 45 minutes in the second half. And we certainly were able to deal with that pressure even after we did score, and we seemed to be quite comfortable in moving forwards at the 2-0 as well. But it was good to get back into the game, good to play our game, because I didn't think we were going to be able to play it and they work us out, to be honest, and play the game where they just sit and drop and absorb pressure like many teams have worked us out. But we played our game well, and that's what we did.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't ask much more. Going into the second half, Aaqib, obviously we all knew that we had to score the second goal, and we all knew that sort of the longer that the game went, the more not concern would be, but the more kind of itchy it would get, and then the more sort of worried you'd be about counter-attacks. But we didn't have to wait too long, which was rather lucky. Only 4 minutes into the second half, and Giroud got the second. But I want to focus on Joel Campbell as well in the move that led up to the goal. The piece of control, the calmness, the ability to just roll his foot over it and slide it in, absolutely superb, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it was brilliant. I mean, the close control, the little drag back that he did, and where Giroud pointed where he wanted it as well, which was very important, because obviously that's where he wanted it, so he could slot it away. But before that, there was a Mesut Ozil pass to him, which was brilliant again. But Joel Campbell's touch, his close control, his pass is signs of that he's becoming more confident in the team, and it's going to be pretty hard for someone to take him out of that team at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. John, Joel Campbell, off you go.
Oh, that's a bit mean. No, he's played very well.
It all on yourself.
He's played very well in the last couple of games, and tonight, yes, he was excellent. He was really, really good. The problem I have with Joel Campbell is that I know he's only been at the club for a short period, but he's been on loan around Europe. He hasn't impressed me anywhere he's played, and to me, he stinks of Gervinho. He can be brilliant one game and then completely useless the next, and he can be awful within the same game as well, and brilliant as well. He did that fantastic control and the skill for the assist, and then 5 minutes later, a ball gets played out that's easier to control that he completely miscontrols and fluffs and gives to their defence. Now, right, players aren't going to be perfect and get everything 100% of the time. My argument is that we are not in a position now as a club where we were when we had to have players like Gervinho and Bentner and Denilson. We're now in a position where we can have much better players at the club. Now, if he keeps doing that for the rest of the season, Joel Campbell, then fair enough. And then if he somehow manages to see through the summer and we don't sell him, and he's still at the club next season and he continues to do it and improves, then I will happily take it back. But for me, I don't see him anything better than a Gervinho to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Gervinho is a good player. I just think we can have better in the club. But whilst he's an Arsenal player, I'll still cheer him on and hope he does well for us. But I just don't see him having a future at the club.
Yeah, I was being mean. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
Oh, I don't care. I'll fuck him off if I want to. I don't. It doesn't bother me. You know what I'm like.
And fair play to you. You stand by your original thoughts, which is takes a lot more than to just hop on the old bandwagon.
Well, it's like you saying that Lukaku's rubbish. 50 games, 50 goals in 100 games? Yeah.
Never said he was rubbish. Never ever said he was rubbish. I just don't like him.
I just wanted to start people in the chat moaning at you instead of me.
You troll. Sticking with you for a minute then, aside of Joel Campbell's work, Giroud was he was noticeably hobbling. He did turn his ankle. It looked like a bit of a sore one. Showed, dare I say, good mental strength to get himself up and play through the pain barrier and get on the end of it. And it was a good tidy finish for that second as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, good finish. The penalty as well. Just as soon as he got that first goal, just confidence boost. He's one of those sort of players. His hold-up play was much better after the first goal. He knew when to lay it off first time, and rather than trying to do the fancy flicks that sometimes don't quite come off, when to just sit there, hold it, take a bit of a kick in, and then pass it to relieve pressure from the team. And I thought he was really good tonight. We couldn't have done it without him up front, certainly. The only gripe I have is when he's silly booking. Although I know the player dived, his reaction to it, it's just stupidness. It's the sort of thing that if we had a really bad referee tonight, he could have got sent off for that, the way he went at the player. That was my only gripe. But other than that, just really good, solid performance from him tonight, and hopefully that continues. The good news as well, obviously, that Walcott being back looks like he came through the game fine, and maybe he can give Giroud a rest when we need to, because he has played a lot of games.
Yeah, absolutely. And Villa on Sunday might be an ideal game for a Theo Walcott against those sort of slow defenders. So yeah, let's hope so.
Useless defenders.
That's the ones. Yeah, I was trying to be
Ashley Cole.
Are they? Oh
yes,
well,
they're going for Ashley Cole.
That'll make them even more defensively sound then. Yeah,
man, he can't even get in Roma's defence. Who are useless?
Yeah, who are terrible. Yeah, good point.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Especially that Florenzi bloke, he's awful.
Yes, I know, it's terrible, isn't he, when he plays in midfield and up front and gets in competition for goal of the season. Better than that Soriano. Look, we're coming off topic again.
Put the handbags down, for goodness sake. Tom, the third and what proved to be the clinching goal. I saw a lot of people that didn't think this was a penalty. I thought it was. I thought there was a clear movement of the player's arm to the ball. I thought he knew exactly what he was doing. It was an unnatural position for his arms to be in going down. It was almost like a goalkeeping save. Any dispute in it for you? And just talk me through your thoughts as you saw us bombing forwards at 2-0 up, looking for a third goal.
I was loving it because I knew the fact that if we got that third goal, they'd have to score 3. So at the end of the day, if one goal is worth 3 of theirs, why not go for it? I thought we played defensively sound the whole game, so it made sense for us to try and get that third. I said before the game it was important. The whole game was always about scoring 3 goals, and we did that. But yeah, the penalty was. The only dispute I had with the penalty was I couldn't understand how it wasn't a red card, because my opinion of it is if someone stops a goal-scoring opportunity by blocking it with their hand, then that should be a sending off. And from my account, a shot is usually a goal-scoring opportunity, and that's certainly what Monreal was aiming to do. And he blocks it with his hands. So if he's not blocking a goal-scoring opportunity, I don't really follow how he can't be given a red card there. But Giroud got the penalty, he's scored it, excellently taken, because he's not the best at taking penalties. He's only scored 1 and missed 1 as far as I can recollect. He missed 1 in his first game that I ever went to, which is the Coventry game, and he scored in the Champions League before as well, I think it was. I can't remember who it was against. It might be Schalke, something like that. But no, it was good to see him score. Good to get his first competitive hat-trick, which I keep banging on about. But no, it's really good for confidence, and it's someone that I've backed for so long, and backed against people saying, "Oh, we need to bring in a striker in January." And the thing is, you're never going to get anyone better than him in January, so there's no need. And I love the guy, and I think he can stay at Arsenal and be successful for many more years.
Yeah, you can't ask much more than a player to step up when it really matters, and you know it really matters tonight. And I'm going to be a bit cheeky here, but ask Man United fans. There's plenty in London, so ask them what they think about having a forward who can score goals for 12 million. Anyway, leaving that aside,
they have got a forward who can score goals. He's just playing left wing.
Who's that? Ashley Young? No. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we'll touch on them later on, because it wouldn't be a show without having a little bit of a mockery of them. Right. Obviously, Danny's decided to join us. That's nice, lovely. Hi, Danny. Hope you're well. He's been having a dig at me, telling me that I go on too long, so I'll get on with it. Right, Aaqib. So we're 3-0 up. We're in control of the game. It seemed to deflate the opposition at that point. They didn't really seem to have any kind of comeback. It kind of almost petered out. But if we look at the performances just in that last 20 minutes, it showed a maturity for me that we haven't had for quite a long time. We were keeping possession. We were fairly comfortable, sort of just playing the ball around. Any concerns at all that one goal might have changed the game, or were you pretty much feet up at that point?
No, I think I was just, pretty much feet up, like you said. I think around about 3, 4 years ago, we were still trying to be bombing forward, score that fourth goal, and it would, backfire against us. But the signs are there. This team is maturing. Ramsey held back a little bit. Flamley obviously stayed back. Campbell stayed a bit further forward as well. So there are signs of maturity, and that's what wins leagues. Just sitting back when you need to, going forward when you need to. It's just signs of a good team that's gelling together, and I think that we can progress further on in the Champions League and the Premier League, in my opinion, and we shouldn't just focus on one.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Absolutely. John, do you want to just give us I know it's a short list, but just in case anyone doesn't know, who we can potentially draw in the next phase?
Yeah, sure. Because I'm sure that will be a question later on who we want everyone. So if you want to note down the list, so we've got Real Madrid we can draw, Wolfsburg, Atletico Madrid, still going down the list, Barcelona, and Zenit are the teams that we can get drawn against.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Round.
Obviously, people in the chat box can have a little debate on that one. I'll ask you all who you want later on, but
yeah.
Excuse me. Before I do, I just want to highlight a couple of more of the individual performances. Sticking with you, John. I think he's kind of gone. This sounds like a really weird thing to say, gone under the radar, but Petr Cech. He strikes me as a guy who's growing into the Arsenal shirt more and more every week. Obviously, we all know he had a sort of sticky start to his Arsenal career. Then there was the whole Ospina playing instead of him business and bits and bobs. But he's such a calming influence, you just never really feel at odds, do you, when the ball's in the air? Even the sort of the shot that he had to do well to Palmer's side, there was never any doubt he was going to make that save. Do you think he's vital to us winning whatever we go for this season? He's surely a vital part now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, if we win anything this season, it will be largely in part to him, and it probably won't be talked about as much because we are a bigger team, and generally, although I know we do tend to give up some attacks on our goal. It's not the sort of thing that's concentrated and look back in the highlight reel with all the goals and the fancy plays and Mesut Ozil and players like that, Alexis Sanchez. But he's pulled off some brilliant saves all season, really key ones. And like you said, when a cross comes in or a corner, I'm not nervous anymore. If ever there's an error for a goal, I don't normally ever even bother looking at Cech. If it was Szczesny before, and I don't want to be harsh about Szczesny because I still think he has got potential, you'd always look to the goalkeeper first, and then you'd look at the defence and the positioning and everything else. Now, if we can see the goal, I sort of look, was the midfield in the right position? Was Mertesacker pulled the wrong side? Was Bellerin out of position? That kind of thing. But Cech just seems to calm everything down. I still think there is a little bit of a weakness at set pieces, organising, but again, I think that's more down to Cech obviously has come into the team where it's quite established that Mertesacker organises that defence. And he doesn't want to mess with that. He obviously respects that because they're pros of a similar. They haven't won exactly the same things. Obviously, Mertesacker is a World Cup winner, and Cech hasn't won that, but he's won domestic trophies more. So there's a sort of mutual respect thing there. So maybe he doesn't want to step on his toes too much. That's the only thing maybe I'd question. But Cech definitely has made a huge difference to that team. And just the confidence you can see, and also the fact, there's 2 minutes to go. If we conceded the goal, I wasn't going to be that bothered myself. It would have been my spot-on prediction actually for tonight, so it would have been nice. I got more points, but Cech, you could see was, he's really keen. You could have seen him absolutely lose his rag if we'd lost the clean sheet tonight, and how much as important that is, not just going through, but clean sheets and things like that to him.
Yeah, I went 3-1 as well. Did you go 3-1? Did you?
I went 3-1 Giroud. Yeah.
Yeah, I went 3-1 Campbell just to annoy you.
3-1.
Tom, just sort of keeping it defensively as well. I know Ian Wright's described Nacho Monreal as our most improved player. He's again just the simple things tonight, just the very simple things. The covering. I noticed he was quite vocal organising tonight. He sort of obviously won the penalty. His ability. The thing I really like about him, which Hector Bellerin hasn't quite got yet, but I think he will because of the age, is his ability to judge when to go and when not to go. He doesn't just aimlessly bomb forward. He's very, very good at knowing when to go and when to sit. What's your kind of thoughts on him moving forwards?
Moving forwards, as in physically?
Just no, as in the long term. Because I mean, if you look at him,
Okay.
he's what 29 or so, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people said, "Oh, we should have a younger squad." But for me, new contract, time up. He's a vital part of that back four now.
Yeah, he's one of those players where, because he's not one of the paciest fullbacks, and he's not so much of like an athlete, shall we say, that he can certainly play in that position and hold it down for years into his 30s. Because he's such a stable defender and such a person who plays the game more in his mind, and he knows what he's doing with the ball when it's at his feet now, and that's something he's definitely improved on when he's had it. For me, I think we're going to have to bring backup in that position, because for me, Kieran Gibbs isn't the player he used to be, and I personally would rather Campbell was at the club than Gibbs, just to stick another knife into John there. But I can see that scowl.
Pick on John Day, isn't it?
Yeah, he played excellently today, and he's probably the most consistent player we have on the pitch. It's arguably with Czech, you can make that argument, but he knows what I like about him. He seems to have an instinctual partnership with whoever plays on that left-hand side, and automatically whoever plays, whether it's today it was either Walcott or Joel switching either sides, or it's usually Alexis. They play really well, and also with the player who's playing the left side of that deep line midfield, which is usually Santi, and obviously you have that Malaga connection back in the day, but it's just simple. As you said, he plays the basic game, and that's all we need him to do. And he's a really calming influence on the defence, which is something we have lacked in recent seasons.
Yeah, I love him. He's just everything about him, and the fact he looks like Peter Crouch makes him even more fun. Aaqib, just sort of touching again on like the forward line. I mean, obviously I've wound Joel up a little bit, and I'm not for a minute suggesting that Joel Campbell is the future of all Arsenal wide men, and a reborn character, because he's still got a lot to prove. But he couldn't have done much more tonight. Would you have him ahead of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in the coming weeks? Because obviously the Ox is now fit again. What would be your thoughts based on the last couple of weeks?
Oh, that is a tough question, but Campbell's been playing very well since the Dynamo Zagreb game. I think that was his platform. He had a fantastic game, and I think it's just gave him more confidence, and I wouldn't drop him, in my opinion. I think Ox has to work his way back into the team. He has had chances, and Joel Campbell, he's only had this one chance, and he looks like he's taken it. But Joel Campbell is more of a goal threat as well than Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's more. Wenger says that he might put him in central midfield, which I'm still a bit 50-50 on. But, I will still keep Joel Campbell in the squad over Oxlade-Chamberlain, definitely.
Yeah, he can't do much more than he's doing to prove that he's got a future, within the club. Whether it's a start or not is open to debate.
He's the best player at the club, mate. Honestly, he's the best player at the club.
Naturally, but he does need to get out while he still can.
His work rate as well is very.
That's what I like. Yeah, I agree with you. And I agree on the goal threat thing as well. Yeah. I think he seems more composed than Ox when he's in that position. Particularly his goal on Saturday shows that. He's got that sort of that nous of being able to finish in that sort of position, whereas Ox tends to be a bit more rash. Just sticking with you for a minute, Aaqib, just on the other side, moving forwards as far as our league campaign goes, and indeed Champions League, would you like to see Theo continue in the wide role while we're missing Alexis?
It's a tough question, because I would normally put Ramsey on the right. I think. Oh, actually, no. Because you need to give Drew a rest. You got to give Drew a rest, and I'll put Theo in the middle, Ox and Joel Campbell on either wings, and with Ozil as the number 10, he'll just be joy for Ozil, for him.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to have, like you mentioned, the Villa game. Maybe we'll see what happens there. But John, I've left the most awkward one for you.
Cool.
We all kind of worried about the situation with Coquelin and Cazorla going out. It's no secret some people prefer Aaron Ramsey in the central role, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, I thought, credit where credit's due. He proved tonight that he could do that job. I still do panic about, I think Ian Wright said about it on BT when him and Flamini are both bombing forward. I do panic, but his engine was good tonight, which we all know is his strong point. But he still showed the ability to get wide, to put that cross in from the middle. That partnership now, that's going to be absolutely vital moving forwards, isn't it? And it's going to be vital that Flamini and Ramsey both continue this sort of form as we go through the league campaign, isn't it?
Oh, massively. Flamini is basically the only player we've got who can play that position at the moment. He still doesn't sit deep enough for me. He does go wandering a little bit too much. But when you've got Aaron Ramsey next to you, generally you can sort of dig him out of a hole. And you saw him got the yellow card early, but it was a tackle he had to make, because otherwise the back four was exposed. And there were a couple of times we were a little bit exposed in midfield, and that will come with a player like Ramsey, who is used to being more forward-thinking and not sitting so deep. But I do think playing through the middle is his best position. I think you get more out of Ozil, if that's possible. Just because I think it gives him another option, because whilst he likes having those quick players who are always in front of him, especially the wide ones, having someone in midfield who's running from behind him, constantly running back and forth past him, just gives him an option of just those 1-2 balls, and that the late runs into the box drags defenders and it messes up the defence, and they don't know where the line's supposed to go when you're supposed to pass on a midfield player from your midfield to the defence. It really makes it difficult. So I think you definitely get the best out of Ramsey there. And we know he's a confidence player. He got the goal in the I can't remember now, the Sunderland game, scrappy goal. But it helped him, and he played better. And then he gets the assist tonight, brilliant ball, another one from a similar position, like he did in the Sunderland game as well. So I think that's as important. I'm worried if anything happens to Flamini, because then we really don't have anyone. I mean, is it then Ramsey and Oxlade-Chamberlain? I assume.
I guess it is, yeah.
Yes, that or Cameron
Chambers.
Chambers.
Yeah.
It's the only other one, So, but at the moment, it's good. The other issue is the fact that we haven't got anyone else, so we can't rotate. That's the problem. But there's nothing you can do about that. It's just we've got the injury, so there's nothing we can do about it now. So hopefully we can get through to January, and fingers crossed, Arsene does something that I don't think he will, and goes out and gets someone in January, because we really need someone.
Because you'll now say that Flamini and Ramsey did a brilliant job, so we don't need cover. So.
Oh yeah, well that,
just,
yeah.
Just
and Jack's coming back as well, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We haven't had the banter bit yet this season, so.
No, give it time. Just quickly as well, what do you make of there's been a lot of high-profile people that have said that, I think, who was it said? I think John Hartson said it, which doesn't go too far, but he did say it. And I think somebody said it on Tonight's Show. It might have been one of the pundits on BT, saying that they'd like to see Mesut Ozil sort of not in that role and Aaron Ramsey in that role, and build your team around Ramsey. I love Ramsey, I really do, but that's surely complete madness, isn't it? Surely Mesut he's in the form of his life in that number 10 role.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd move him. The only reason possibly why is if you got some sort of inkling that he wanted to leave the club or something like that. But but you can surely still build the team around Ozil, and then at whatever point he decides to leave, because this is sort of the way we do, or Arsene tends to do things. If a player wants to go, they will let them go if the money comes in. Then Ramsey can just slot straight in there. I don't see why you'd need to change that at all. I think it's Ramsey's best position, definitely. But there's no way currently with our squad that you could play Ramsey and Ozil that far forward. I mean, the only way I could possibly ever see it working is if you played Ramsey as like a false nine, a bit like Lars Stindl does for Gladbach. Little plug for my little team. Something like that possibly is something you could maybe give a go. And having sort of Ozil and Ramsey just picking who runs at whatever time, because that again confuses defences. That's another option. But
most important thing is why I don't know why people always want to change something that's working really, really well. That's the bit I can't quite get my head around.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I had the argument about Santi Cazorla. As much as I didn't like him, I don't particularly like him in the middle in certain games. Whilst we were winning games, I'm not going to complain, because if we win, we win. So that's fine.
Yeah.
There might be things you might prefer, but if you're getting the results, then you just go with it.
Yeah, I agree. And thanks, Aaqib. You're absolutely right. It was Craig Bellamy, that esteemed pundit and fountain of knowledge of the world
Oh
game.
yeah, well
That
they're mates though, aren't they?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a Welsh connection going on here
Yeah.
somewhere.
I
But
think that might have been said a little bit tongue in cheek, to be honest. But
let's hope so. But it is Craig Bellamy who
the,
once
the one
sold
thing
something to the golf
is,
club.
if obviously if we were really struggling, or or Ox got injured or something horrible like that, and we only had Walcott to play up front and Giroud was injured, then you could always play Özil wide and you've got Ramsey to play there.
Yeah,
So it's at least you can rotate the players a little bit within their positions.
yeah. Couldn't
Let's,
agree more.
let's just not get any more injuries, please.
No, absolutely. And there's a lot of people in the chat box who are trying to sell our players before we've got anybody else in. It does worry me a bit. And yeah, some people are trying to get rid of players. It's strange, very strange. Just keep it positive, people. Tom, people have been over, up and down whether we, whether we think that we can win this competition or whether we can't, and Bayern are this and Barca are that and Real are this, and everybody's better than us. I've always said, and I will continue to say it, even now, you can't win something you're not in. We are in it. This next draw obviously is going to be important, but what's your thoughts on how far we could go, and do you have a view on not how seriously we take the competition, but do you have a preference as to what we prioritise, or do we just go for everything we're still in?
Ooh, big question.
It is tough, yeah.
Well, in terms of how far I think we can get, it will come down to who we get. But at the end of the day, we have enough experience of coming up against different levels of quality sides in this round we're about to go in, and winning those games or losing those games, and losing when we shouldn't lose. And we now have enough experience and quality to know how to get through those games. It's important that we take a reality check about the tournament. I personally don't feel we can win it. And that's not me being a downer on the side. It's just me being realistic and seeing the likes of Bayern Munich and Barcelona and the quality they have through their sides, and compare that to us. And we're not ready to win it. But at the end of the day, as you said, you can't win something you're not in. And Chelsea were certainly not ready to win that tournament when they did. There's nothing to say you can't get a stroke of luck, or many strokes of luck in many different games. And you never know. We might turn up and play the best game we've ever played in our life in consecutive matches, and we certainly have a team that's capable of beating them. We've beaten Bayern Munich. We've shown we can do that, and there's no reason why we can't do that on a regular basis if we click, if we play our game. Finally, in terms of prioritising stuff, I'm of the mind that the players are in a physical condition that they can play 2 games a week on a regular basis. I know as an Arsenal fan that might be very naive, but it's the thing that players are conditioned in the way that they should be able to play 2 matches a week, and it's not like they're playing it 2 matches every single week either. It's normally every other week they're playing 2 matches, so I don't see why we can't do that. But I am confident going forwards, but it'll be, as we're going to go on to later, who we get in the next round.
Yeah, that bit's coming up very soon. Just before we get to that bit, Aaqib, just looking at the sort of the way that obviously we see Manchester United go out this week, there was a lot of pressure on that team tonight. I don't care what anyone says. There was pressure from the media, pressure from our supporters, from our split supporters down the middle of how well we would do tonight. Do you think we've answered a few questions with tonight's performance, in your opinion?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think there were the majority of Arsenal fans saying that we wouldn't qualify. I was one of those, to be honest. But they have proven a point. With performances like today, like Bayern Munich, it's just on our day we can beat anyone, like Tom says. As we just need to have that sort of consistency, and that is, the problem with Arsenal for quite a while now. Is just gaining that consistency. Also, matters what players we have, unless we don't have like 10 injuries. So it is a combination of things that make us a great team to play. But if we get our players back and stay fit, I think we can go far in this league and in the Premier League. And I agree with Tom saying that we can play in the Champions League and Premier League.
Yeah, and of course we all know with some sections of our fans that we're only a defeat to Villa away from it all being terrible again. So yeah, we'll take every game as it comes. Okay, let's ask you all then. You can have a choice of two teams that you'd like to draw and who you think will draw. Tom, I'll start with you. So who do you think will draw and who would you like?
I think we'll get Barcelona. I would like Real Madrid so badly because I really, really want to go to that game as a massive La Liga fan. Two, I think over two legs we can beat them. They're very inconsistent and they're really in it, even though they have some of the best players in the world. They're not the best at getting results when they actually need to. But in terms of other team, I'll go with Wolfsburg because I think they're the most beatable out of all of them, even over Zenit, simply because of the travelling distance. And I think that could interfere with Premiership run if we have to go to Zenit, and it's a long travel. We could lose an important game in that time. So yeah, I'm going to go with those two. And just to add on the end, I do not want Atletico Madrid. It would be the worst possible tie. Because of all the teams that know how to defend and how would sit back and know how we play and we just pass around the edge of the box, we're never going to score against them. So honestly, do not want them.
Yep, fair points. John, who would you like and who do you think we'll get?
I don't know. We'll probably get Barcelona, and we'll get ripped to pieces. To be honest, I kind of agree with Tom. I wouldn't mind Real Madrid because I think their defence is pretty bad and we could beat them. But equally, it'd be nice to get Wolfsburg, but I can still see us messing up against them, which would be seen as the easy tie. Although it'd be quite funny because then obviously everyone would get to see Julian Draxler play against Arsenal, and I'm sure there'd be loads of people complaining about that, even if he has a terrible performance. So yeah, actually no, I'm going to say Wolfsburg just so we can see Julian Draxler and how he's not worth the money everyone thought he was. But
and of course, if that happens, you can miss out on your £28 that you would have got if you'd have put £1 on.
Oh yes, and plus obviously Bentner, coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, naturally. Yeah, Lord. Yeah.
By the lawn.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. We can roll out the red carpets. Aaqib, who would you like, and who do you think we'll get?
I think Tom just stole the words out of my mouth. I mean, over two legs, I think we'll beat Real Madrid. I mean, they have a few good players, but defensively they're not that great. Wolfsburg is the beatable team because it's not a far playing journey like Zenit. That's just going to interfere with the Premier League and it's going to make the players uncomfortable. But I think we'll get Barcelona, which I really don't want.
Yeah.
The only good thing is if we get Barcelona, we get to see really good football.
That is true, yeah. What,
just from the other team.
I knew where you were going with that. Just to complete the set, I would like Real Madrid. I'm with all of you on that one. As you've all said, as much as they are decent going forward, they haven't really blown me away this season, and I think we could score against them. Who do I think we'll get? I have a sneaky feeling we're going to get Zenit. I do. I don't know why. I just do. I think it would just be too obvious to get one of the other ones, but we shall see. And the one thing you'll get is, okay, yes, the Zenit trip would be an absolute pain in the tits, but they aren't good travellers generally. So I would fancy
a 5:30 kickoff as well, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Yeah, and I can't remember, John. If you want to do some intel, find out who will be playing. Over the course, isn't there? Who do we play? Do we play at home? We play away first, don't we? As second qualifiers.
I shall have a look.
Yeah, see if we can
talking and professionalness.
I think it's turn out of the draw, isn't it? It turns when you get drawn. If you come out first or second in the draw, I think that determines whether you play home and away. I'm not sure.
Okay. We'll see if we can find out. We'll see if we can find out the dates of when in fact, I can probably do it for you now. Actually, while I'm sat here talking, I can probably. Right. So the first leg of the quarterfinals is.
We don't want them.
Sorry, not the quarterfinals.
We're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet.
It's been
there for a while.
Okay, this one's
February, isn't it?
It's definitely February, so yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it up.
Wait, all right.
I'm already on it.
Okay.
16th to the 16th or 17th will be the first leg, and then 23rd, 24th would be the. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, 16th or 17th, and then into 8th or 9th of March. And then, unless we're in the other side of the draw, then it'd be 23rd, 24th of Feb to 15th, 16th of March.
Anyone would think we prepared for this. So the 16th or 17th would clash with a game at home to Leicester on the 13th of February.
That's if we're in that side of the draw.
Uh-huh.
or we could be in the 23rd or 24th side.
Which would be Newcastle. Which would be Manchester United away.
Oh, well, we'll get drawn in that side then.
So that's good.
And
then
then the
second
second
leg?
leg is 15th or the 16th.
So you're looking at West Brom at home or Everton away.
Everton away, there we go. Yeah,
There
so so we're definitely going to be in the second side of the draw, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So subject, of course, to TV coverage and
changing what time you've got to get a train and not be able to get home, and how much you've got to be fleeced for your ticket and everything else.
And all that jazz, and all that jazz. So I suppose all we can do is just sit and wait. I think the draw is Monday. I think I'm right in saying.
Something like that. We probably should have looked that up.
Monday morning. So,
there you go. Aaqib knows. He's more professional than us.
So and there's rumours that a certain other podcast will be covering that at some point. So stay tuned. Okay, so that's who we think we're going to get. Now I want to ask you. Actually, no. Just before I ask you about other oppositions, can we all just take just a second, just to have a little giggle at Man United? Can we just? Is there time for that? I think there is, isn't there? Tom, what did you make of their spectacular £250 million failure last night?
It reminded me of us playing Olympiacos at home. I think it was
like a live abortion on TV
with a coat hanger. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Down the stairs.
Honestly, it was hilarious. It just every time they scored, Wolfsburg got it back, and then they think, "Oh, we've scored. We're going to get." Oh no! So yeah, no, it was very enjoyable to see. I didn't watch the match live. I saw the highlights, but yeah, and it was. I feel so sorry for Martial having to play for them because I really like him as a footballer. And it's funny, but I think you put it in the chat in our WhatsApp about how much money they've spent. They should have walked that group. It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, well I remember when the draw was made and they were all, it was all the pundits, everyone was like, oh yes, United will comfortably get through that. I think even I said, oh, could they've got an easier group, and they spectacularly cocked it up.
I'm really going to drop my mate in here and say that I tweeted out saying Man United always get lucky draws during the Champions League, and he tweeted back. He replied saying, "I bet you £1,000 we'll get further than you in the Champions League." So, I replied saying, "I do take checks." So
yeah, cash or cards. Yeah, cash is in.
But to be fair, it's not great news for the league because that cocks up the coefficient.
Fuck the coefficient, to be honest.
Well, we might not be saying that if things go horribly wrong this season.
John, I've always said all along, and I'll stand by this, if we're not good enough to finish in the positions that we're asked to qualify, then we shouldn't be in it in the first place. Like, that's genuinely, whether that's 4th, 5th or 8th, if you know at the start of a league season you have to finish in a certain place to get into this Champions League and you're not good enough, then you don't deserve to be in it. Simple as that. So yeah, coefficients, if it means we get a night like last night where I can just sit back and eat very, very heavy ice cream and laugh at Man United, then that's good enough for me as far as I'm concerned.
Sorry, a question.
Go for it.
Do you think that United would have gone through if they had Rooney? Or...
No, I think they would have played worse.
I agree. I 100% agree.
They need major surgery, and and I feel for some of them.
Normally to their manager's head first, probably.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I know some people say, well, it will make them stronger in the league. Well, don't forget they've got a Europa League campaign to go through now. So, and I think that they will look at that as an opportunity to win that competition. So I think they'll probably take it quite seriously, which will hopefully affect their league form. But, Man City haven't been any great shakes, and nor have we, in fairness. So, let's just focus on each game as it comes, as they say. Just before we go to listeners' questions, and I will throw open that door now, so if anybody wants to ask any questions, John, Tom, if you keep an eye for me. But while we're waiting for those questions, who do all of you still see winning this? I'll give you. You can have two names. It's probably going to be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to know who you're going to say, but who do you think are the most likely to win this competition? John, I'll start with you.
Barcelona? No, that's not a team, is it? I don't know. Bayern Munich or Barcelona, one of them. Yeah, I don't see anyone else. They're just too good.
Yeah, I think you're right. Tom, do you share? No, it's fine. It's fair play. Tom, do you share the same view?
If it's not us, I'd love Atletico to win it. But
Yeah,
I think they could win it, actually. I think they're very good defensively. As I said about before, that's why I don't want to get them. I think they can get results. I think they can pick off teams. And against Bayern, I think they could be a bit of a vice to Bayern, personally.
Yeah.
You can see how good Gladbach, as John will tell you, on the counter. So Atletico are defending as they do. They could pick them off. I could see that.
Or how about Genk? Maybe they're dark
Ghent.
horses. Genk. Oh, the Belgian lot with the
I'd
horrible
love to,
fluorescent kit.
just
Yeah.
because their midfielder's called Comes. That's the only reason.
Oh
It's a great name.
dear.
It's a great name.
Oh, bloody
Again, the
stupid.
team with the
There it
badge
is.
that says "We're Magic," aren't they?
That's right. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like a
absolutely
weird
right.
face thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Fair play to them, though. You know, they are the
They were
happy
magic.
story, aren't they? They were magic. Aaqib, do you see anybody different to Barcelona or Bayern Munich?
No, not really. But I would like Roma to win because I'm a big fan of Roma.
Yeah, I think John will tell you they've got a lot of work to do if they're going to.
I know.
I'm glad I was muted then because I just made a really high-pitched laugh. Sorry.
Did they go through then? Did Bayern
Yes.
Leverkusen?
Yeah, they went
Yes,
through.
yeah, Leverkusen should have won their game actually against
Yeah,
Bayern. They had
yeah.
loads of chances to win it, but
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. So that's our thoughts. And I share all of your views. I do share Tom's view, though. I think if it isn't to be us, I'd love to see Atletico do it. I just like the way they play. And well, actually, that's a bit of a lie. I don't like some of their tactics, which are a little bit Simeone-esque, but I do like the way they attack. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody new this year, or Juventus is my other tip. So I'll just to be different, I'll pick those two because I think Juventus are never rule out the Italians, eh, John? Right.
never do. Sorry, I was on mute then. I couldn't
No, that's
respond.
all right. No
Did it
problem.
all late and now it's just ruined it, isn't it?
Yeah, the moment's gone now. Right, let's pick out some questions. So if we go John Tom, we'll do it like that. So John, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, probably. I should probably take the button and do the thing and press. There we go. Sorry.
That's the one.
Right. What was the first question? Oh God, here we go. Do we get past the round of 16? That's from True Gooner. It's a little bit vague because we don't know who we've drawn yet. I don't know. Tom, go on. You can have that one.
I wasn't listening. I was typing. Sorry.
Okay. Do we get past the round of 16?
Depends who we get. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. All right, I'll give you another one. One from Jukestar. Is Giroud our penalty taken out?
Yeah, please. I would like that. I don't trust Özil after the whole Bayern Munich thing, and Alexis after the QPR thing either. So I'd say whoever scored the last one takes it for me.
Nice.
I agree on that, by the way. Yeah. Although I did rather cheekily say when Neil put in our chat who takes the penalty, and I put check, just for a laugh.
It
I
would
think
go
it'd
in,
be
to be
fun.
fair.
Yeah, probably would.
Can I go?
Yes, go for it, Tom.
There's someone called Georgie1 in the chat. I have no idea who it is, but I think it might be my girlfriend, actually. And she says to Aaqib, I'm going to put this to because she put me, but I'm going to put Aaqib. Who is most likely to win the FA Cup this year? Maybe an underdog from the Championship. Say maybe Charlton Athletic. No hints at who she wants to win it whatsoever.
I would like an underdog to win it. I think all of us would like an underdog to win it, but I think I would like us to win it, obviously. But
If you couldn't have us, who would you want to win it? That's a tough one.
I'll go for Southampton.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I think the right answer to that question is Arsenal and anyone but Charlton, just to annoy Tom's missus. Tom, give us another one. Give one to John.
Okay, I'll give him the one that he wants. Redford Oakley says, is Domenico Berardi worth a gamble in the summer?
Oh, yes, he is, and it's not a gamble. Just go and get him, and it'd be cheap. If he's not owned by Juventus, which we're still not sure about, because he might be, or he might only be part owned, and Sassuolo might own a bit of him, but Juventus might have an option to buy him. But we won't get him anyway because he's Italian. So yeah, I'd like to get him, but he won't leave Syria. Italians don't like leaving Italy because all the best food is Italian and the best clothes. And sorry to any ladies in the chat, the best women are Italian and the best cars. And he's already in Italy where all of that stuff is. And if you go to Italy, you can't buy any other stuff from anywhere else. Everything's Italian. You go to any other country on holiday, you can get any food you want.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Actually, I want to ask you as well, Tom, because Carl, friend of the show, was also talking about potentially strengthening. He mentioned a lad at Valencia, Gaia, the left back. Would you take a punt? I mean, we talked.
It's not a punt. It's just
Well-
the same with Berardi. It wouldn't be a gamble. He is currently the best young left back in the world right now. The only thing is he still doesn't get it in front of Monreal. That's how good.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
That's how good he's playing at the moment. He's so consistent. Plus, he's rapid as well, Guy. He's completely the bipolar opposite to Monreal. But definitely as a future person, yeah. But the thing is, I think he's going to go Real Madrid. So sorry, Carl.
What do you think of Rodriguez of Wolfsburg?
Love him. Absolutely love him. Yeah.
Only because he looks like you.
Like 2014.
He doesn't look like me. He looks
Got long
like
hair and a beard.
he looks like a cross between Roman Reigns and Rob Trujillo from Metallica. That's what he looks like. If those two had a child, that's what would come out. But no, he's super talented, and he can play three different positions as well. Go on.
For you, Chris. This one's from someone called Colonial Cannon. I don't know who that is.
Oh, he sounds like a right douche.
Yeah, his question is: would you rather spend a day in John's beard or a night in Danny's bed? Now,
Oh my God!
I'm going to amend it slightly. Or would you rather spend a day in John's bed but with Danny's beard as well?
Oh my God!
It's listener questions. You open the platform for them to ask these questions. We have to answer it.
I feel like this has turned into an Ask Blog extra style because they get questions like this. I think I'd rather spend a day in your bed, John, without you in it, with Danny's beard, because the thought of the horrors that lurk in Danny's pit. I mean, are any of you old enough to remember Trapdoor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember that? It was the thing upstairs.
Yeah.
That's Danny. Isn't it? That is Danny. Just, bark, feed me. That's Danny. So, and I imagine he has a little drut that just wanders around cleaning stuff. So, yeah, love you, Danny, but I don't want to go anywhere near your bed. So I'm going to have to spend a night in John's bed without John. But Danny, I'll have your beard when it grows back. So there you go. Christ, my thought. Honestly, that's completely wiped me out.
Your time for one more.
Oh, and Danny's tried to qualify it by saying he has a Laura Ashley duvet cover.
Oh, God.
Ooh, sweetheart. Right, I've got a question for all of you. I want this to be a one-word answer, and it's from Carl as well.
This is...
Yeah, would you rather win the Champions League or the league? Aaqib, I'll start with you.
Premier League.
Good stuff, John.
Champions League.
Oh, you hipster, Tom.
I knew he was going to say that. Premier League.
Premier League for me. Go on, John. We expand on why you would like to see the Champions League one.
Because we haven't won it, and it's something Chelsea fans can hold over our heads, and it really annoys the fuck out of me.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now I ask you the question.
If we win it once, then we can win it more, and then hopefully win it more than Liverpool and go, and all that general bollocks that people do.
Okay, here's another one. I don't want this to turn into a manager thing, but can we win the Champions League under the current manager with the current squad?
No.
Okay. And what do you and how much change do you think would need to happen? Would it need to be that other teams got worse for us to improve, or do you think we could improve even given the money that's around everywhere else?
No, I think we can win it. He just needs to buy the right players. And not necessarily that we haven't got the right players. We just need better ones in depth. Our first team's fine. I think our first team's good enough to compete with. It's still obviously very difficult to compete with Barcelona and Bayern Munich, but.
Cool.
Especially in their forward line, but we need more depth.
It's a good question. Tom, you've got another one, haven't you? Another question?
Yeah, I did like this question. Aaqib, I'll throw it to you. Actually, you can all have a go at this. Just a quick, brief one answer. When should Arsenal blood the youngsters, seeing as we're out of the Capital One Cup now? Go on, Aaqib.
Oh, I don't think probably in the FA Cup, maybe. In the second half, or we've got a League One team or Championship team, but we can't play them in the Premier League because I don't think we can afford mistakes, or in the Champions League we can't afford mistakes. We're going for the title now.
Chris?
Should he blood youngsters? No. I think the time to blood youngsters is gone now. I think the only time I could think that it would be rational to do it is if we drew a very, very, very lesser side in the FA Cup. Maybe you could put 2 or 3 in, but no, I don't think the time for experimenting is now. Nope.
I I will steal my friend Funky Dino's answer, who put it in the chat. After the last time the youngsters played, quite a long time from now would be ideal from when to start them again, as in probably next season, because they're just clearly not good enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to ask you all one final question before we wrap this biatch up. As things stand right now, right, so we know we've got what injuries we've got. We know players are coming back. We know that January's just around the corner. Whether we are to strengthen or not is kind of irrelevant. Right where we stand right now, at the end of May, do you, either any of you see, and I'll just ask for one word answer, do you think we win a trophy this season? Doesn't matter which. I just want to know if you think we win a trophy this season. Tom?
I think if we don't, then we've failed, personally. But, yeah, I think we will.
Okay, good. John?
You left that nice and vague, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think yes, but if we win anything, it will be the FA Cup.
Okay, fair enough. And Aaqib?
Yes, I think we'll win the Premier League.
Oh, see, confidence. That's what I like. Positivity.
Mm.
And one
It's young
very
people, they haven't been disappointed yet, Kris.
no, give it
Yeah.
time. And one very quick one, which just because it was directed to me, James Perkins says, do you think it would be worth going and getting a young future star up front to get a current world-class striker now? In other words, should we buy for the future now so we've got them in ready? And I mentioned this on last week's show, and yes, I do. I do think if we could get somebody, I'd love to see us do that whole Shamak Podolski type thing where we get somebody sorted in January and maybe they join at the end of the season.
Oh, I
That's
thought you
what
said
I'd love
someone
to.
like Shamak or Podolski.
No,
I was
no,
gonna-
no.
That's what I thought.
I'm not a masochist, Tom. No, I'd like to see us do our negotiations early, particularly if with the Euros where you're going to get less time to do your business. I'd love to see us, really go big in January and say, right, let's try and get one or two signed in advance of the Euros, so we don't have to pay big fees. So, yeah, hopefully.
Soriano then, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and Xhaka and all the other players you lot love. But yeah, good stuff. That's some really good questions tonight. Really good. I feel like crap, so we're going to wrap things up there because I need my bed and I'm getting old. So yeah, it just remains for me to thank everybody tonight. The podcast is tomorrow. Unfortunately for all of you fine gentlemen, you have to put up with me and John again because we are part of the crew tomorrow with Danny, Gimli and Simon of our bloggers. So tune in for that tomorrow. And we shall return after Sunday's game against Aston Villa. I can tell you that the lineup for that is, as he rustles to open his Excel spreadsheet, which doesn't want to open. There we go. Sunday is Danny's gonna drag himself on. Hopefully, Tom, you're back for that one, and that Colonial Cannon bloke. Oh God, what on earth will happen at Aston Villa on Sunday?
Yep.
So yes, tune in for that. We've had a new blog go up today from Luke. That's on the ABW site and retweeted. That's well worth a read to give that a look. I think that's pretty much it, boys and girls, to be perfectly honest. So thank you all very, very much for joining us, as always. Give us a follow at the Bergie Radio and obviously at the AFC Podcast. We'll return on Sunday, but just remains for me to thank you to Tom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to John.
Thank you.
And thank you very much to Aaqib.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to all in the chat room, all 124 of you, and those that have just dipped in and out. We really appreciate it. And we will speak to you after Villa. Keep it Arsenal. Cheerio.